Hey everybody, it's your girl Constance Carter, and I want to go live because I want to talk to you today about. I pray to God that the pandemic is almost over, but it doesn't look like we are anywhere near the end. Well, I don't know. Maybe the president might magically come out with it. Since he's talking about a vaccine under his administration that they're doing very, 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 very well, but. For now, it doesn't look like the pandemic, we're anywhere out of sight of the pandemic. But I wanted to talk to you today about different ideas, different online business ideas, so that you can get away from being so attached to your jobs. If the pandemic has taught you anything, it should have taught you that you cannot depend on your job to provide for you. Because as soon as the pandemic happened, what happened, you guys? As soon as the pandemic happened, as soon as it fell upon us, what ended up happening? People ended up losing their jobs. The only thing that you got from the government, the only government assistance you got was what, $1,200, unless you had a business. Now, if you had a business, I've seen people get anywhere, and I know personal people personally who got anywhere from $10,000 to $500,000 because they had a business. They got that EIDL, they got that PPP. But you, hey Vaughn, you working your job, you lost your job, and now you've only gotten $1,200 in assistance. So you need to have your own. You need to have your own business. You need to have your own company. You need to do something. And God has placed something on the inside of you that is yours specifically. We all were born with a gift. We all were born with a purpose. And 95% of us or 90% of us do not hone in on our purpose and our gifts. And we end up living, working in our jobs and living in mediocrity and really not happy. Maybe we might be content. You might have a house. You may have been able to get a house, but you're not really truly living your passion. And I'm telling you right now is the best time in the history of this world to be able to do something for yourself and start your own thing. You can GTS, Google that shit. You can Google anything. You could create your job. You can create your career. You can create your business from Google. And I'm going to give you a few ideas, but just to give you an idea of who I am. My name is Constance Carter, and I am the owner of Catalyst Real Estate Professionals, and we are the largest African-American owned real estate firm in California, the whole state of California. Now, we're not African-American only, we're African-American owned. That's because I'm African-American, and I just happen to own it. But there's things that I've done, and again, GTS, Google. I Googled that shit. I Googled everything. I built my business on what I learned online. You can build a business from what you learn online. What I did is I took my passion, which was helping people. Right. And I translated into how do I help people live their best lives? That was through real estate. So I took something that a lot of people just do transactionally. I'm selling houses, and I made it transformational. I made it something that is more than just a home purchase, but really about the legacy building, really about how do I help your family, your children, your children's children. And I created a business around that philosophy, not just about selling homes, but really how do I help you generationally? How do we change the community? How do we buy the block? How do we do multi-unit investments? How do we do all of those things so that we can create something that's bigger than ourselves? Because I don't know if you know, but there was an article in Forbes magazine that said by the year 2053, median black wealth was going to be at a 0. And not far behind, Hispanic wealth was going to be at a 0. So there's things that we could do in order to close that wealth gap. And owning your own business, investing in yourself, because you are your business commodity. You are your biggest investment. And I'm telling you, when you invest in yourself, you invest in your children's life. Like right now, I got 2 kids. I have 4 children. I have 2 of them. My oldest 2, my 20-year-old, 21-year-old, and my 16-year-old are entrepreneurs. They're making their own money by creating their own businesses and their own jobs. So when you step out there on faith, it doesn't just affect you. It affects your kids. It affects your children's children because they can see the possibilities. So my kids aren't afraid to go out there and try something different, because they seen their mom do it. Failed, I filed bankruptcy, foreclosed on homes, had cars repossessed. I've been homeless. So it's not like I started out up here. It's not like I came into this world with all of that, with the knowledge. I'm not the smartest person. I hang around with smart people, but I'm not the smartest person, but I am an executor. And so I took something very simple and I created a business and a brand around it. And you can do the same thing. It requires consistency, and it requires you to be persistent and not giving up. Zero in on that thing, whatever that thing is, that gift God has given you, whatever that purpose is, and create a business around it. So Google GTS, Google that shit. What's Google? What's GTS? Google that shit. You can Google anything. online. You just have to be willing to step out there. You might fail, you might get embarrassed, but you will have to go all in and take the risk. And you may have some sleepless nights, and that's okay, because you're doing it not only for you, but for your legacy. So let me just tell you a few different ideas. Hard work beats talent. That's right. I'll tell you a few ideas. So drop shipping. I don't know if you guys know what drop shipping is, but drop shipping is where you could take a product and you could sell it. So you could resell it. So you have a company, you have a third party company, and they have a product. So look at this right here. This is something that I do some drop shipping. This is and it's also branding, y'all. Look, this is a mask, aka a gator, a net gator. So see this right here? It's a mask. It also has my company logo on it, Catalyst Real Estate Professionals, right? I have an online t-shirt store. I sell t-shirts. I sell motivational t-shirts. This one says, love God, hustle hard, live good, right? I have about 15, 18, 20 t-shirts, just motivational quotes on them. I sell those. I make money from those. Drop shipping. So you can create a store. You could have things that you put on t-shirts. You sell them, right? You have this other company, this third party, and it works itself. You just really create the product. And the only thing that you really have to do is market it. This is a business, y'all. It could be very lucrative if you put the time and your talent into it. It's just a matter of marketing. And that's with all of these things. Anything that you do, you're going to have to market, because you can have the best product, the best service in the world, but if nobody knows about your product, it's not going to be sold or seen, right? So I coach people. I'm also a coach. That's another one of my revenue streams. In addition to the real estate, I'm a cannabis investor. I've gotten books. I do all kinds of stuff. I own a co-working space, one of the largest co-working spaces in Sacramento. But I also coach people. But one of the things that I tell people all the time is you have to be able to market yourself. So if you have a drop shipping company, you could sell mugs. You could sell freaking phone cases, whatever. On this drop shipping site, you have a third party that's doing it, and all you're doing is marketing. You create your store and you market. You can make a ton of money drop shipping. Okay, it's one revenue stream. Write a book. I have several books. That's another revenue stream for me. This one was my first bestseller, and it's called Keeping Score: What You Need to Know to Make Your Credit Score Grow. I wrote this. Let me tell you. I never had the desire to be an author. I promise you. One of my friends came in my office, and she was like, you ought to write a book. And that's how most of the stuff happens. Somebody inboxed me one day and was like, because I had put this on my Facebook page, and she was like, you ought to create t-shirts. And I was like, okay. And I created t-shirts. That's pretty much how I create my businesses. I don't have the best ideas. I'm not the biggest ideation person, but I'm an executor. There's a saying that says the idea doesn't belong to he who thinks it, but he who executes it. So there's a lot of people. Have you ever had those moments where you've had a brilliant idea and you never did anything with it, and a little bit later somebody else came out with it and you're like, damn it, I should have came out with it. I've had those moments as well. So that's why I just execute on anything. I do what's called spray and pray. I'll do something and hopefully it'll stick, and then hopefully it'll go out and sell. So my first book is called Keeping Score: What You Need to Know to Make Your Credit Score Grow. Somebody came in my office one day. They were like, you should write a book about credit. And I was like, okay. So I went home and I wrote a book about credit. Now, it took me about 12 hours to write, put most of the content, the meat and the content in it. And then it took me about a month, and I'm not an author. So then I went to Upwork, which is a freelance site. And I got an editor to edit the book. And they told me, hey, you should add this and add that. And I did. And I wrote this book, and it became a bestseller. I uploaded it myself on Amazon, and it became a bestseller. And I'm just talking about credit. And I made it so simple that it's been able to help thousands of people with their credit, because that's what I do. I help people with their credit. Now, I don't personally help people. And that's the reason why I wrote the book, because people were always coming to me, asking me how to help them with their credit. And I don't have that kind of time or capacity. So I wrote myself a book about credit, and it became a bestseller. Now, I market, promote it, because it could be, again, the best book in the world. But if nobody sees it, then it's not going to do anything. Then I went and wrote another book called The Secret to Breaking the Broke Code. And BROKE is actually an acronym. But what I did is I took the hardships that I had gone through financially, and I put it in a book. So I took my hardships and made it the blueprint to help other people. There are some hardships that you may have had in your life that could be a help to other people. Put it in a book. Go to Upwork. Have somebody edit it. Upload it to KDP, Amazon, and now you have a book. Okay, that's another revenue stream. Well, what about if you you're great at Microsoft Word, you're great at word processing, you're just great at writing. You can go on Upwork and you could be a freelancer. That's another business. There are people there that have made upwards of $50,000 in a month by just freelancing their talents. So instead of you sitting home waiting on, Uncle Sam to get you that EDD, that unemployment, or you waiting on the government to do another stimulus, start freelancing your services out. Maybe you do data entry really well. There are sites out there that you can go on that you could freelance your services or your intellectual property, the things that you have in your mind and in your head. You can actually put them out there and sell them. Do an online training course. Right? I use Kajabi. That's another thing I did. So I turned this book, Keeping Score, into an online training course, and it makes me money. Multiple revenue streams, right? So I have an online training course about credit. Now, and the good thing about that is it's so extensive that people actually take my online training course at mywealthroadmap.com. They take my online training course and then they start teaching people they start repairing other people's credit, because I don't repair credit. So you learn so much in that course that now you could take that course and become a credit expert, because I'm a certified credit expert. So I put all my expertise into an online training course. You could put all your expertise into an online training course. Now you have perpetual income that's just coming in every month for a static training that you already have. There's online sites like Maestro, which is actually a Black-owned software company. The owner I happen to know. You can use Kajabi, you can use Teachable, but and I believe Dr. Boyce Watkins uses Teachable. So you can put all your training, all your intellectual property. If you say you know how to you want to teach basket weaving. I know how to basket weave underwater, whatever. Put it in a course, and now you're starting to generate income. I mean, there's so many things that you can do online that could create income. If you're a coach, you might be a coach, you might be able to coach people on their businesses. That's another thing that I do. I just got off a coaching call with one of my clients. So I happen to coach on Tuesdays. So maybe you might have, a knowledge, maybe you've built your business, but now you want to start coaching people, or people want to tap into they say, I want to pick your brain. Well, picking my brain is not free. So I can help you. I can coach you in your business. And that's another way that you can make revenue. Are you following me? See, there's things that you could do with your intellectual property online where you can start generating income. You can create a subscription business. What's a subscription business? Well, it's where you're sending out things every single month and people are paying you. So create a business. You could create a box of things that you're sending out every month. So you're sending out a coffee mug every month, or you're sending out a t-shirt or whatever. They're just paying you $99 a month and they're getting something from you. You could create that. And what does that look like? And it could be something that's very creative that you can create, but it's yours. Be a virtual assistant. So say somebody like me who's really busy, I don't really need anybody in the office because I have a few assistants in my office, but maybe I just need somebody to do some extra work. Well, I may need somebody that has your skill set and they're just doing a specific thing. I'm friends with Warren G. And so we were just talking about the other day about how he needed a virtual assistant for just one specific thing, because he has his barbecue sauces. And so he just needed a virtual assistant just to handle that piece of his business, because he has so many other businesses. So what if you offer your services as a virtual assistant that just specializes in certain things? Because you don't never know, your niche could be used for one specific thing for multiple people. Okay. So I want you to think about it. What's that thing that you could do? Maybe that gift, that talent God's placed on the inside of you that you can start monetizing and make money over and over and over again. Don't be afraid to launch, because the biggest thing in the world is having a talent or a gift and just sitting on it. The worst thing that you can do in your life is live with regrets and think back to the time that you could have, or you should have, or you would have done something and you just didn't do it. That's the worst. That's the worst feeling in the world. Just being afraid to execute because you're afraid to fail. Because that's a lot of people's, that's what a lot of people are afraid of. They're afraid of failing. Some people are afraid of success. I heard people say, look, I'm afraid if I'm successful, then I'll be too busy and I won't be able to take care of my kids the way I want to. Well, what about if you have more opportunity to take care of your kids better because you were successful and you're able to open up and do more things? Like that's the thing that you should be looking at. Like, what are the things, what are the opportunities that I'm missing? Because now I'm tied to this job, I'm tied to this desk, I'm tied to these reports, I'm tied to all these other things, and I don't have the freedom to really go out there and do what it is that I need to do. Look at, she said maybe assisting students with FAFSA financial aid and scholarships. Oh my God, that's a dope idea. How many people would pay somebody? Because I know that is a huge burden. That is a huge burden, dealing with financial aid, trying to figure out how to navigate through the system. Maybe you have somebody do it for you. And if your child goes to an HBCU, that's a whole nother set of issues, because sometimes the administration in these HBCUs is not the best. So you have to exercise patience and diligence, and you got, if you have somebody say you were that person that I'm gonna take care of this, the student loan, student aid, and I'm gonna take care of actually dealing with the freaking colleges. Golly, I will pay for that all day, any day, because I have college age student kids, right? And I know, trying to get through to administration has been probably one of the worst experiences ever. But what if you can do that and make extra money doing that? She said she got 8 years experience. Issa said Bitcoin mining is the basic way you can grow your Bitcoin. The primary purpose of mining is to allow Bitcoin nodes to reach a secure, temper-resistant consensus. Mining is also the mechanism used to introduce Bitcoins into the system. Miners are paid transaction fee. Yeah, I don't even know what that is, but it sounds like you can make some money doing it. My son is an entrepreneur. My daughter is an entrepreneur. You know what my daughter does? She helps people with their Instagram pages. So she helps business owners build their Instagram pages. So she gets paid for that. My son, he's teaching stock classes. So he gets paid for that. They have a certain talent and skill set. My daughter's on Instagram all the damn time. Why don't you monetize that? What are those things that you're doing all the time that maybe you can monetize? My kids, I taught my kids about, the importance of investing in assets rather than liabilities. So instead of you buying PlayStation stuff, instead of you buying Jordans, why don't you start investing in Nike and Microsoft and Xboxes, right? Start investing in those things. Sony, start investing in those things instead of just having the liability. It's a whole different mindset. And now you can create a business. So now my son is teaching stock classes and he's making money that way. He just taught his first last month, has another one coming up on the 29th of this month, and he's making a killing. So what are those things that you have an expertise at? Latanya, the possibilities are endless. Yes, the possibilities are endless. She said, hey, sweetie, some good news. My daughter Alexis has her own business and makeup, and she does lashes in Stockton. I hope she's advertising. Go Diva said, how do you choose who to market to? That's a great question. It depends on your industry. But the great thing about like social media is you can do target marketing, target ads to target specific people. You can do retargets where it follows people. Like this weekend, I was looking for some swimsuits this weekend, right? So Friday, I'm looking for swimsuits and I bought like 10 of them. Do you know Saturday, all I'm doing is getting asked for swimsuits. Sunday, I'm getting asked for swimsuits because they know what I'm looking for. And now all I'm seeing is advertising, and they're getting cuter and cuter. And I'm like, I already bought 10, 12, 15 of them. I don't want to buy no more, but I'm like, dang, they're getting cuter and cuter. So that goes back to how you're targeting. What is your business and how are you targeting and retargeting? And then do you have pixels? I mean, there's a science behind it. And that's something that you probably should invest in. Maybe have a third party, make sure that your targeting is on point. But that's a science. That's an exact science. But there's so many things. Again, you have the best business in the world. But if you ain't marketing right, ain't nobody gonna see it. So I just wanted to make sure. You said you're interested in the stock class. Go to Invest with Warren, eventbrite.com, and you can sign up for his stock. No, that's not it. It's Invest with Warren 2, the number 2. Invest with Warren, it's Invest with Warren 2.eventbrite.com. Invest with Warren, the number 2.eventbrite. Invest with Warren, the number 2.eventbrite.com. And it's such an awesome class because I was sitting in there too. So invest with Warren 2.eventbrite.com. Go there and you can register for my son's stock training class. My son took $1,000 investment when he was 12 or 13 years old. He's 16 now. And he took $1,000 investment that I made in him because I told all my kids, If you take the Dr. Boyce Watkins stock training class, I will invest $1,000 in you. Only one child did it, took that $1,000, he made $8,000. And now he's teaching others how to do the same thing. You could do it too. So not only for you, but teach your kids the same thing. So that's all I wanted to tell you guys today. I'm so excited about the possibilities because like I said, right now is the best time in the history of this world because we have something called the internet that is available. It's free. Startup costs are low. You ain't got to be like me. I got 2 buildings. One I pay rent. I lease one building here and I pay mortgage on another building. And it's very, 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 very expensive. But, you know, it's all part of me, the cost of doing business for me. But you can make just as much money as me and have no overhead or very, very low overhead costs. Think smarter. It's not really hard. It's just about thinking smarter and thinking different, thinking outside the box. Last thing I'm going to tell you is whatever that business that you start does not have to be rocket science. Let me tell you one more time, that business that you started does not have to be rocket science. You do not have to pick the most difficult thing because people want to know simple stuff. So you might have a knowledge base that's super simple for you, but it may not be simple for everybody else. So think about the thing that comes easy to you. My friend Lisa Nichols, she's the best speaker in the world. And she does a speaking training, a speaker training. And she didn't do that at first. And one of the things she said is, I thought that I had to do something that was difficult for me. I didn't think I was supposed to do something that came easy to me. She's the best speaker in the world, but she didn't think that people would value the thing that came easy to her. That's such an easy thing. So think about that thing that comes easy to you, may be difficult for somebody else. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So remember the drop shipping? Go on conversationtees.com. You can pick up your gator, your mask gator, conversationtea.com. That's my website. It's conversation TEA because I'm giving you good tea. I'm giving you good motivation, conversationtea.com, and pick up some of my products. You could do the same. Look at how I'm doing my website. Copy it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, y'all. I don't care if you copy me because my people ain't your people. And what God has for me is for me. And what God has for you is for you. So just remember that. That's all I wanted to say, y'all. Take care and God bless. Peace.